Hey, this is BremSter, and before I get on to the full solve of this, which I actually started a couple of days ago, I just want to call out that while I am actually solving this puzzle, I suffer from a seizure. I edit that out of the video, and I finish the solving this puzzle a couple of days after I start solving it. This is why I record up to a week in advance on this channel. I just don't want people to know that this is what happens. Don't worry, I'm fine. I'm perfectly fine. This is a normal occurrence for me. But I just want people to know that why there's going to be a couple of day edit. And while I'm solving in the first part, it's very, very clear that I'm getting frustrated and it's stuff going wrong in my brain. This is just a disability I have and there's nothing I can do about it. But I still want to share puzzles with people and the puzzle deserves to be seen. So I'm going to cut over to BremSter from a couple of days ago, who's about to go through half an hour of trying to figure out the puzzle. And then I come back from BremSter from only a few minutes ago, who finishes off the puzzle. The beauty of editing, a lot of stuff on YouTube is edited. Hope you enjoyed the puzzle. I didn't as much as I should have, but that's on me, not on the puzzle, which I think is really good. Over to past BremSter. Hi, and welcome to BremSter Puzzles, a channel where I try and showcase the fun that could be had in the world of variant Sudoku. And today I'm going to be bringing you another fog puzzle, this time by Belamis. I'm not sure I've done a fog puzzle by Belamis before, so I'm looking forward to trying this one. Of course, as I said in yesterday's video, anyone who comes across a puzzle that they think would be a good one for the channel, or if you've created a puzzle that you think would be a good one for the channel, please check out my submission guidelines. I am very, very interested in receiving emails of submissions or recommendations because, yeah, I'm looking for more puzzles to do. I have a bunch of pre-recorded stuff in the Sudoku Tude series or from World Puzzle Federation, but I'm trying to get a bunch of stuff recorded before I have to go away. And I'm looking to get stuff into the queue. So if you've got recommendations or anything, please send them through. I do, if I get a recommendation, need to make sure I've got permission from the setter to do it. I do not do puzzles where I don't know that I've got permission from the person to actually feature the puzzle. That is an incredibly important thing. Consent matters. I've had puzzles of mine done on channels without them actually having permission. I had no problem with it, but it kind of is a bit weird when a puzzle just appears somewhere. It strikes me as a very strange thing when that happens, but yeah, it's all good, I suppose, maybe, but I prefer to have permission. So yeah, submissions and recommendations, preferably with the backing of the person who creates the puzzle, incredibly important to me. Let's have a look at Kropki Lines by Belamis. This one's got a weird rule that I've never seen before, and also a weird way of explaining them, but let's go through it. So we've got normal Sudoku rules apply. So in every box, in every row, and in every column, the digits 1 to 9 must be placed without repetition. Now, the fog is the last rule that has been provided. It is called Fog of War in the puzzle description. I don't know where the war is. Where's the battle here? This is just a fog puzzle. And it's the last rule described, even though it would be the next rule that people who've never seen this would be asking about. So I'm going to explain it second, which is the grid is partially covered in fog. Correctly placing digits will clear the fog around the cell. So if you were to place this digit, all of these cells would have the fog cleared around them and you would be able to see any other constraints beneath the fog. It says no guessing is required. Now, we don't say no guessing is required for the normal Sudoku or for the Kropki. We say it for the Fog of War because a lot of people, I assume, the setters who are putting that in the rules, assume that when people are given the option to cheat, they will take them. I never assume people are going to take the option to cheat, so I don't put that into my fog rules. But I suppose a lot of people just assume if you give someone the option to cheat, they will cheat. Now, I don't think cheating is whatever. If people, it's a puzzle. It's not competitive, so who cares? But yeah, I'm assuming these are people who just assume that given the opportunity to do something wrong, they will take it. I just don't assume that people are going to cheat or are going to guess given the opportunity. This is a puzzle. It's supposed to be solved logically. I assume people are going to try and solve it logically. whatever. But no guessing is required. We should be able to figure this out whichever way we do. The other rule is Kropki lines. And the reason I would put the fog first is because people would be saying, but I don't see any for Kropki lines apart from this cell. What are you talking about? Why can't I see the rest of the grid? Along grey Kropki lines, adjacent digits must either differ by 1 or be in a 1:2 ratio. So these lines, I'm assuming, will continue into the rest of the cell. It is possible that they won't, but I'm assuming that they will. I've seen some trick puzzles where the setter has done it that the line just ends at the border. I'm assuming Belamis isn't doing that. So what will happen is these lines will continue into these cells, and adjacent digits along these grey lines must either have be consecutive, so have a difference of 1, or be in a 1:2 ratio. And wherever there are other lines in the grid, using grey is a bit weird because it means that people will have, if they draw a grey line into the grid, it will kind of be blocked by the fog. It's a visibility nightmare, but interesting choice. But yeah, that's the way it's going to work. Any two cells connected by a line must either be consecutive or in a 2:1 ratio. I'm going to restart the puzzle to restart my timer. Not that I care about time. Let's give this a shot. So this cell is either consecutive or in a 2:1 ratio with all of those 4 cells. Now, we know it can't be consecutive with all 4 of them because if it was, there's only 2 possible consecutive digits possible. So it must be in a 2:1 ratio with 2 cells that it's not consecutive with. So let's actually just start by putting in all the possibilities here. If this was a 1, we'd have a problem because it would need to be consecutive with all, or in a 2:1 ratio with all 4 cells. And the only thing it's consecutive with is 2, and the only thing it's in a 2:1 ratio with is 2. So all 4 of those would need to be a 2. 9 is similarly impossible. The only thing it's consecutive with is 8, and it's not in a 2:1 relationship with anything. Not possible. This can't be a 9. If it was 5, the only thing it could be consecutive with is 4 and 6, and there's no 2:1 relationship possible. Can't be 5. 7 is the same. There's no 2:1 relationship. The only 2:1 relationships are 3.5 and 14. The only consecutive possibilities would be 6 and 8. Can't be 7. So we're narrowing it down. Now, 2. 2 is in a 2 doesn't work because 2 is only in a consecutive relationship with 1 and 3, and it's only in a 2:1 relationship with 1 and 4, and we're sharing a 1. 2 doesn't work. 8 does work because I would be using... No, 8 doesn't work because 8, I'd be using a 2:1 relationship with 4, and I'd be a consecutive with 7 and 9. So because there's only one 2:1 relationship possible, it can't be 8. I'm narrowing it down to 3, 4, and 6. So can I get rid of, which ones of those can I get rid of? I think I can get rid of 3 and 6 because if I use 3, the consecutive relationship would be 1 and 2, but the 2:1 relationship would only be 6, and the only digits I could put next to it would be 1, 2, and 6, and that doesn't work. And 6 is similar. The consecutive relationships are 5 and 7, and the only 1 to 2 relationship is 3, and I'd have to put 3 digits, 3, 5, and 7 into 4 cells. So this has to be a 4. There you go. Now, I wanted to go through that. I thought it had to be from 2 or 4 from the beginning, but I wanted to prove all of that. Now, these digits are either consecutive with 4, which are 3 and 5, or in a 2:1 relationship, which are 2 and 8. So these are 2, 3, 5, and 8. Now, this cell is going to be interesting because these have to be from 1, 6, 7, and 9. And this cell has to be in a consecutive or 2:1 relationship with both of those. Now, 2 can't be here because 2 is in a consecutive with 1, but it's not in a 2:1 relationship with either 6, 7, or 9. This can't be 2. 3 doesn't work. It's not consecutive with any of those, and it's only in a 2:1 relationship with 6. 5 doesn't work because it's not in a 2:1 relationship with anything, and it's only consecutive with 6. That's an 8. An 8 isn't in a 2:1 relationship with any of those, but it's consecutive with 7 or 9. So that's 7 or 9, which means 7, 9 comes out of there. This is interesting. 8 comes out of all of those. Now that I think is as far as I can take this box at this point, but I've now got this box to play with. Ooh, okay, that's a bit messy, isn't it? Because this has to go to here and here, but this has to go to here and here. So how is this going to work? Actually, how is that going to work? I was hoping this would stop just being a case everything puzzle at some point, but I think it's still just a case everything puzzle. Case everything doesn't always feel like logical deductions, but I'm not seeing another way of doing this. So similarly, what can this be? It can be 1, 2, 3, can't be 4, 5, 6, 7, can't be 8, 9. Now, similarly, this can't be 1 because both of those would need to be 2. It can't be 9 because both of those would need to be 8. It can be the others because even 5 would allow these to be the 2 consecutive digits with 4 and 6. And 7 would allow these to be 8 and 9. So this does seem to be possible. So it's going to have to be case what happens with these based on these, I think. Which is a little messy, but I'm not seeing another option here. So if this is 2, this could be all sorts of things. It could be 1, it could be 1. But I don't think this can be 1 because both of those would have to be 2. So if this is 2, this couldn't be 1 because both of those would need to be 2. It couldn't be 4. This would have to be 3. Because it's consecutive with 1 or 3 and it's in a 2-to-1 relationship with 1 or 4. So if this is a 2, this is a 3. But then this has options of being 4, 6, all sorts of stuff. So that does work. But I can never put 9 on this line, I think is an important thing. I can never put 1 or 9 on that line because a 1 would need 2 2s, a 9 would need 2 8s. So there's no 1 or 9 on this at all. So this can't be 1, 2, 3, can't be 4, 5, 6, 7, can't be 8, can't be 9. So these are just 2, 3, 5, 6, 7. So this has to be consecutive or in a 2-to-1 relationship with both of those. That might be the thing. So what could I put here? If this is 2, what would that be? It could be 4. So if this is 2, this could be 4 and be consecutive with 3. If this is 3, this could be 4, and that would work. 3, 5 allows that to be 4. 5, 6. If I put a 5 on this, what do I put here? If I put a 5 on this, what do I put on the other side of the line? It'd have to be 5, 6, because these would have to be consecutive. These would be 5, 6. This would then need to be consecutive with the 5, which would be 4, and 4 is not consecutive with 6. So I can't put 5 on here. 5 on here breaks because the 5, I'd need to put 4 and 6 on the line, and 4 and 6 don't work. There's no 5 here. 6 and 7. If I put 6 on the line, well, if I put 7 on the line, the other 2 digits that go on the line are 6 and 8. And that doesn't work because if I put 7 here, these would need to be 6 and 8, and those aren't in a relationship. And if I put 7 here, these would be 6 and 8 and aren't in a relationship, though there's no 7 here. So if I put 3 and 6 on here, so there must be a 3 on here because it's either 2, 3 to be consecutive or 3, 6. So there is a 3 on here and no 3 up here. That's okay. But can I do 3, 6 here? If I do 3, 6 here, what could I do? No, it has to be 2, 3. Because if I do 3, 6, Well, they're in a 2-to-1 relationship. What do I do that is consecutive with both? Because I can't do another 2-to-1 relationship. There's no digit that's consecutive with both 3 and 6. This has to be 2, 3. There's no 6 here. This is 2, 3. And the only thing that is consecutive or in a 2-to-1 relationship with them is a 4. That's a 4. That's a 5. This really just feels like casing, which is a bit messy. This now has to be consecutive or in a 2-to-1 relationship with 2 or 3. If this is a 2, this can't be a 4, this would have to be a 1. And if this is a 3, this can't be a 2 or a 4, this would have to be a 6. Giving me a 1-6 pair. There's no 5 in either of those. Is there a way of doing this that's not just casing? I'm not sure. I'm looking for something. So, because I'm really tempted to write every option into here, because this sees all 3 of those cells. So I've got a similar restriction, but less powerful than I did when I had to put 4 different cells in. So 1, I can't do 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Now a 1 would need all of those to be 2. A 9 would need all of those to be 8. A 5 would need all of those to be consecutive. And the only consecutive digits would be 4 and 6. And I can't put 4 and 6 into 3 different cells. 7 has the same problem. There's no 2-to-1 relationship, but one of them needs to be. So this is only 6 or 8. Now, if this is 6, right. So this has to be these have to be the consecutive digits, and this has to be the 2-to-1 relationship digit, because the 2-to-1 relationship digit with the 8, because 2 of them could be consecutive, because there's only one 2-to-1 relationship digit with a 6 or an 8, which is a 3 or a 4, and I can't put 3 or 4 in any of those. So this is a 3 or a 4, and this is either 5, 7 or 7, 9. So these are 5, 7, 9 and must contain a 7. But what am I doing now? What am I doing now? There's no 5 here because of the 5 looking down. So that's 7, 9. If this is 6, 3, 5, 7, that's 1, 2, 3. 9 would be in there. So that'd be 7, 9. That'd be 1, 6. Which started with that being 6. So that's a 1, 6 pair. So where's 1 in this box? I can't put 1 in any of those because of that 1, 6 pair. I can't put 1 in any of those because I can't put 1 in any of these cells. So the 1 in this box must be there. That's weird, making that the 2, that the 3. Now I can't put... The 1 makes this the 6 and this the 1. And now the only place I can put 6 in this box is here, making this the 3 and this a 5, 7 pair, which means that's the 7 and that's the 5. That's incredibly strange. It's very cool. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. These are an 8, 9, making that the 7 and that the 9. This is a triple now. 1, 6, and 9. This is not quite a triple, but that is connected to both of those because the line is going into there and into there. So this can't be a 1, because if this is a 1, those would both have to be 2. If this is a 9, both of those would need to be 8. That's a 6. That's cool. So these are only from 3 if it's in a 2-to-1 relationship, 5 or 7. This can't be a 5. This can't be a 7 because of the digits looking down. Okay. So what are these from? I've got 1, so they're 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and 8, and must contain an 8. So this has to be 7, 8, because they must be either consecutive or in a 2-to-1 relationship. It must contain an 8. An 8 can only be consecutive with 7 or 9. 9's not available, or in a 2-to-1 relationship with 4, which is not available. That's a 7, 8 pair. So that's the 3, that's the 5. The 3 looks like making that the 2 and that the 3. These are now 2 and 4. And there's something weird going on with that cell. It has to be in a 2-to-1 relationship with or consecutive with 7 or 8. If this is a 7, that has to be an 8. But this is either in a 2-to-1 relation. It's all 4 of those. It has to be a 4 for the same reason this was, right? Because that's 4 digits. It has to be either consecutive or in a 2-to-1 relationship with. And we've already proved the only one that works for that is that being a 4. So this has to be the 8. This is the 7. The 4 makes that the 2 and that the 4. So these were the same things. To be in a 2-to-1 relationship, they're 2 and 8, and to be consecutive with 3 and 5. These are 3, 5, 2, and 8. Okay? It's exactly the same logic as I did to start the puzzle. So the 2 and the 8 come out of there. The 3 comes out of those. The 5 comes out of there. This is the same thing here. This, I think, has to be an 8 because these are 1. I've got 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and 9. Now, no, because this one had 2 partners. I don't know about that one. Actually, I think all of that works. Actually, I think all of that works. But this is a partner with both of those. So if this is a 2, this could be a 1. If this is a 3, that could be a 6. If this is an 8, this could be 7 or 9. If this is a 5, that could be a 6. Oh, this can't be a 6. So if that's not a 6, this can't be a 5. So 5 is in one of those 2. What am I missing? I've got to be missing something here. 3 is in one of those 2. So 3 is in one of those 2, but I don't see what that's doing. If this is 2, 1, it's 2, 1. Oh, this can't be a 6. So this can't be the 3. This is the 3. That mattered a lot. That's a 2, 8 pair. So that's a 5. 2 could go with 1. 8 could go with 7 or 9. That works. So now I'm looking at this digit, which can't be a 1 because both of those would need to be a 2. It can't be a 9. Both of those would need to be an 8. If this is a 7, these are 6 and 8. Again, it feels like it's just casing. And while it's casing that leads to something, it doesn't feel like there's been much in the way of just deduction. It's just been just eliminate, eliminate, eliminate. Which is a strange... I get the feeling I've missed something. Why would it just be... So if this is 6, these are only from 5, 7, and 3. And if it's 7, they're only from 6 and 8. These are the only possibilities. This can't be from 3 or 5. So if this is 6, this is 7. This can't be 3 or 5 or 7. So this is only 6 or 8. So 7 would make that 6 or 8. 6 has no partner here. If this is 6, this has no partner. Because a 6 here would need this to be either 3, 5, or 7, and it can't be. So this is the 7. That is actually kind of cool. So this isn't the 7. This is a 6, 8 pair. So now this has a partner here. A 6 would need, but this can't be a 6 either, because this would need to be 3, 5, or 7, and it can't be. So this is the 8. This is the 6. Is it still just casing? 8 here could go with 4 in a 2-to-1 relationship, or 7 or 9, and it can't be 7. So this is only 4 or 9. 6 comes out of here. This is a 1-9 pair. This is a 6. And do I look here now or here? Like that cell looks incredibly restricted because it's got 3 partners. But it's not restricted as restricted from a digit perspective. So maybe down here, because these 1, 2, 3, 8, 9, this can't be a 1. Both of those would need to be a 2. Okay, this can't be an 8. This can't be a 9 because both of those would need to be 8. This is 2, 3, or 8. 2. If this is a 2, we could do 1 and 3. That could work. 3. This would need to be 2. That would need to be... If this is a 3, this would need to either be 2, 4, or 6, and it can't be. So this can't be a 3. 1 with 2. 2 now has no partner because there's no 1, 3, or 6 here. So there's no 2 here anymore. 9 could go with 8. 3 could go with 2. 1 could go with 2. But that's now a 2-8 pair, taking 2-8 out of there. So 9 is in one of those 2. That's a 2 or an 8. If that's an 8, this is from 4, 7, or 9, so it would only be 7 or 9. And if this is a 2, this couldn't be, it could be 1, it couldn't be 3, it couldn't be 4. So if this is, so this can never be 1. Because if this is 1, this would be 2, and this would have to be 1. So this is only 3 or 9. But that doesn't seem to have gotten me as far as I might like. So this could never be 9. Because if this is 9, this is 8, and what could that be? This is never 9. That's only 1 or 7. 5 is in one of those 2, maybe? I think I have to look here. Why just casing? So, okay, we've got a 1-9 pair here. So what have we got? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So these are only 2, 4, and 8. Does that do anything here? No, because this would be 1, 2, 3. If this is 1, 2, 3, this is 9, 8. One, 2, 3, 9, 8, 1, 9, 1. No, that seems to work. So if this is a 2, this has to be a 4. Because this can't be 1 or 3. So this would have to be a 4. So if this is a 2, this is a 4. And then that's a 4, which doesn't work. 4 in this box is in one of those 2. So if this is a 2, this has to be a 4, and then I can't put 4 in this box. because 2 here, the only possibilities if it's a 1 to 2 relationship are 1 or 4, and it can't be a 1, and it is a consecutive 1 or 3. This can't be a 2. Okay. If this is a 4, it can't be 3 or 5. So this would be 2, only 2. Because it can't be 8. And if this is 8, this would be 4 or 9. But if this is 8, this couldn't be 4 either. So this is only 2 or 9, because if this is 8, this would be 4, so this couldn't be 4. So this is only 4 or 8. This is only 2 or 9, and that can't be 9 because both of those would need to be 8, because that goes to there and there. That's a 2. That's tricky. This is now a 4-8 pair, making that the 2, making that the 8, making that the 2, which means that's 1 and 3. That's actually a very nice deduction. That's the 9, that's the 1, that's the 9, that's the 1. I think that's the first one that didn't feel like just pure casing. Hey, this is BremSter returning a couple of days after I started recording this puzzle. I actually... I'll be blatantly honest here. While I was recording this puzzle, I had a seizure. My brain I suffer from seizures. They're basically migraines that present as seizure. I become unable to think clearly. I become unable to see clearly. I sometimes lose the ability to speak without a stutter. That still hasn't fully cleared. And everything goes a bit haywire in my brain. It's a result of a brain injury I had decades ago. I was unable to finish this puzzle at the time. So I'm coming back now. I have found an edit point before I started showing seizure symptoms. I don't really like putting those on the channel if I can avoid it. So what I've done is I found an edit point before I started showing all of those, and I'm going to continue the puzzle from there. I'm really sorry to Belamis. I'm really sorry to all the viewers. It probably also explains, I think I got angry while solving this puzzle. It probably also explains all of that. So I'm just going to pick up and try and finish the puzzle. I'm really sorry, everyone. Let's just get back to the puzzle, shall we? I've obviously put a 1 and a 3 in here, so this becomes a 9. What are these digits? These 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 7. These are 5 and 7. I don't see how to resolve those. What am I missing in this row? 1, 2, 3, 4, 6, and 9. So 6 must be one of those two and can't be there. So that's a 6. These are a 4-9 pair. 4 is in a 2-to-1 relationship with 8. 9 is consecutive with 8. But 2 is not consecutive or in a 2-to-1 relationship with 8. That's a 4, that's an 8, which means that's a 9 and that's a 4. Okay, what about this digit? Because this digit has to be in a relationship with all of those. Now, I have looked at this all before, but you're not seeing that on camera because I was starting to... I'm really sorry, everyone. I don't like doing it, but it's better to present puzzles than just ditch the video forever. But it was... yeah, I've already explained. Okay, so what can this be? It has to be in a 1 to 2, or it has to be either consecutive with 2, which would make it 1 or 3, but it can't be 1, or in a 2-to-1 relationship, but it can't be 1 or 4. This has to be a 3, because it has to be in a 2-to-1 relationship with a 2, which it can't be because it can't be 1 or 4, or consecutive and it can't be 1. So this has to be a 3. So these are either consecutive with 3, which would make them either 2, which they can't be because there's already a 2 in the box, or 4, or in a 2-to-1 relationship with 3, which is only a 6. And the 4 is looking at making that the 6 and this the 4. So that's cool. And that gets this box down to a triple, which is, I haven't put a 1. I've got 2, 3, 4, 1, 5, 7. Which means this is a 1, 5, 7 triple. So there's a 1 in one of those. This isn't a 1. This is a 5, 7 pair, and it means these are triples. So this is 1, 2. I've got 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 1, 2, and 9. But these cells here have to be either consecutive or in a 1 to 2 relationship. 9 is neither consecutive or not in a 1 to 2 relationship with anything in 1 to 9, and it's not consecutive with 1 or 2. So there's no 9 in those. That's the 9. This is a 1-2 pair. That 9 puts 9 in one of those two by Sudoku. Ah, but the 2 here is looking across. This is the 1, this is the 2. Now, actually, I'm going to look at this triple because 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 7, and 8. Now, there's no 7 or 8 there. That's the 5. This becomes a 7, 8. So this... Actually, let's just load the triple up. 1, 2, 3, 4, 6. Because 1, 5, 7, 8. Yeah, 1, 2, 5, 7, 8, 9. Right. So these are 3, 4, and 6. Now, if this was a 3, this would have to be consecutive with 3, which it can't be, or a 6, which it can't be. If this was a 4, this could be 8. 6 could go with 7. So those are, but the 4 makes this the 6, and these aren't 6. 6 is only consecutive with 7. It's not consecutive with or in a 2-to-1 relationship with 8. So that's the 7, meaning that's the 8. So this is a triple. 5, 8, and 9. There's no 5 there. There's no 8 there, and there's no 9 there. Yeah, okay. What about this digit, maybe? Actually, I'm not sure. There's a few possibilities there. To be consecutive, it'd be 1 or 3, all of which are possible. To be in a 1 to 2 relationship, it'd have to be 1 or 4. 1 is already there, and it can't be 4. So this is only a 1 or a 3. So there has to be... So where's 6 in this row? 6 and 6 means 6 has to be down here. 6 doesn't go next to a 2, and 6 can't be here. This is a 6. So this is 1, 3, or 4 by Sudoku, and there's a 1 and the 3 looking up. That's a 4, so that's a 3, that's a 1, and there's 2 1s on this line. But this is now a triple. Well, this has to be a 3 by pencil marks. So these are 1, 2. I've got 3, 4, 5. This 2, 7, and the 2 is looking up, making that the 7 and that the 2. The 3 is looking across, making that the 4. Very cool. So... let's look at triples in these columns, because I've got 1, where's 2 in this column? 2 because this 2 means it can't be there. This is a 2, and this is a 5 or an 8, which is going to restrict these. But let's put the triple in first. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 5, 7, and 9. So these are 5, 7, and 9, which has got to be restrictive because 5, 7, and 9 don't have 2-to-1 relationships with anything. So if this was a 5, this would have to be consecutive with 5. And 8, if this was a 5, this would be 8, which isn't consecutive. So this is a 7 or a 9. And 5 means this would have to be consecutive with 5, and it can't be. This is the 8. This is the 5. This is the 9. This is the 8. The 9 looks down, taking 9 out of both of those, making that the 7 and that the 5. This is a pair now, which is 1 and 9. But the 5 is looking across, taking 5 out of there. 7 is looking across, making that the 5. Let's take 5 out of there. This is a 1, 7. Looking down, making that the 5 and that the 7. And the 7 looks across, making that the 1, that the 7. The 1 looks back, making that the 9 and that the 1. The 9 looks across, making that the 8 and that the 9. And that finishes the puzzle. This did not take me 75 minutes and 40 seconds. It's just the puzzle has been ticking apart from when my computer has been asleep and I have not been at my computer in a couple of days. This is why I try and record my puzzles sometimes up to a week in advance, because this happens to me. I can be knocked out for as much as a week by seizures. And I've been very, very lucky that this has not been a frequent occurrence over the last few years. But I've had a few medical issues, and yeah, it happens. Thank you everyone for watching. Now, I am going to say now, before tomorrow's video, I am probably going to give a channel update about my health and everything. I'll pick a puzzle by someone like Full Deck and missing a few cards, because I know that they won't mind having a long intro to their puzzle about the channel update, where I'm going to talk about what I'm doing regarding all of this stuff. But I will put chapter marks in so people can skip all of that, because I know most people just want to get to the puzzle. But hopefully a few people will be interested in what's actually going on, and I'll talk openly and candidly about it all. This will include my health situation, finances, me needing to take some breaks, and what my philosophy is. I know I've covered a few of these things recently, but hopefully people will, I don't know. I don't know what I'm looking for. I just want to be honest and transparent with everyone about what's going on and why I'm probably going to drop the regular videos back to maybe 4 or 5 times a week. We'll see how it all goes. Thank you everyone for watching. Sorry, Belamis, about getting a little aggro at the first part of the puzzle, and that did develop. I suffer from this, and there's nothing I can do about it, and I still want to try and bring everyone puzzles because, yeah, it's probably the biggest project I've ever been involved. This channel is the biggest project I've ever been involved in my life, and it allows me to share something with thousands of people, and that's an opportunity that it's amazing. Thank you everyone for watching, and as always, good luck with your solving.